They finally opened the doors to Jay Leno's mysterious garage, and what was inside left everyone stunned. For years, rumors swirled about what lay hidden behind those walls. It wasn't just a garage, it was a private world, carefully built and rarely revealed. What could possibly be so incredible that it stayed locked away from the world for so long? The truth is far more surprising than anyone expected. Unless you've spent most of your life in the Amazon jungle, you're undoubtedly familiar with Jay Leno, host of NBC's The Tonight Show. But before the studio lights and celebrity interviews, Jay Leno's world was small stages, cold crowds, and relentless hustle. He didn't slide into comedy, he clawed his way in. His early days were brutal. He played grimy clubs like the Comedy Store in LA and Zanies in Chicago and New York, sometimes getting bumped off stage by bigger names or ignored by indifferent crowds. Jay wasn't the loudest guy in the room. He was the guy who outlasted everyone. While others chased fame, he chased the next gig. Every joke, every awkward silence, every laugh, it was his education. He slept in cars. He lived on a budget so tight he'd buy food once a day. Every dollar he made went into keeping his comedy alive. He kept a strict rule: never spend your TV money. Live on your stand-up, he'd say, and he meant it. That meant no wild splurges, no big apartments, just grit, grind, and joke after joke. While others networked or tried shortcuts, Jay built an act that couldn't be ignored. By the late 70s, his name started buzzing. In 1977, he got the shot that changed everything. Johnny Carson invited him to appear on The Tonight Show. But it wasn't just the appearance that mattered. It was how Jay showed up, polished, sharp, and ready. Johnny liked what he saw, and Jay kept coming back. When guest hosting opportunities opened up, Jay was prepared. Each time, he proved he wasn't just funny, he was consistent, and that made him dangerous in a town full of erratic egos. But behind the scenes, nothing was simple. By the time Carson neared retirement in the early 90s, the power struggle over who would take the desk became one of the most cutthroat transitions in TV history. David Letterman was the expected heir, the critics' darling. Jay, he was the workhorse. Quietly, Leno's camp negotiated. His manager, Helen Kushnick, played hardball, even hiding him in closets to spy on NBC meetings. It sounds like a script, but it was real. Jay didn't always love the game, but he wasn't going to lose it. In 1992, despite the backlash and whispers, Jay Leno took over The Tonight Show. And for the first time, the country really saw what he was made of. He wasn't suave or edgy. He was safe, approachable, and hilarious in his own quirky way. And America loved him for it. Night after night, he dominated the ratings. But what people didn't see was how obsessed he remained with performance. He'd finish taping and then go perform stand-up late into the night. Not for fame, not for money, just because it kept him sharp. It was in his blood. Yet, even as the cameras rolled, Jay was never fully at peace. In 2009, NBC tried to force a handoff to Conan O'Brien. Jay agreed, reluctantly. But when Conan's numbers dipped, NBC panicked. Jay returned to his 11:35 spot, but the damage was done. The comedy world turned on him. Leno betrayed Conan, became the narrative. But behind those headlines was a man who never asked to be a villain, just someone who'd spent decades surviving and wasn't about to surrender the throne. When he finally stepped down for good in 2014, Jay didn't vanish. He went back to his roots and became just the same guy who started in those dim-lit clubs, still chasing the next laugh. Let's tell you something you probably never heard about. The hidden obsession behind Jay Leno's throne. His true home. When you think of Jay Leno, you picture him behind the desk on The Tonight Show, or maybe under the hood of one of his 180-plus classic cars. But tucked away on the rocky coast of Newport, Rhode Island, far from the bright lights of Hollywood, lies something you probably never expected: his secret sanctuary, Seafair. Purchased in 2017 for a reported $13.5 million, Seafair is no ordinary mansion. This is a statement. A 14,000-square-foot Louis XIV-style oceanfront estate. It's perched right on the edge of the Atlantic, like something lifted from a European postcard and planted on American soil. Originally built in 1936 by millionaire Werner Zeveler Reed Jr., the mansion was designed to follow the curve of the Rhode Island coastline, giving it a rare, crescent shape. Today, it's one of the most iconic private residences in Newport, a place that once housed Gilded Age royalty and now, quietly, houses a late-night legend. From the outside, Seafair is all grandeur: limestone walls, soaring columns, sweeping lawns, and uninterrupted ocean views from nearly every room. Inside, 14 bedrooms, 17 bathrooms, a grand formal dining room that looks like it belongs in Versailles, a paneled library, marble fireplaces, and chandeliers that probably cost more than most people's cars. Every square foot drips with old money elegance. But what sets Seafair apart isn't just the French-inspired architecture or waterfront glamour, it's how Jay Leno lives in it. For a man known for being frugal, this estate reflects something deeper. Leno may be based in California, but Seafair is where he disappears when he wants quiet. No red carpets, no networks, just crashing waves and cool Atlantic air. "It's peaceful," Jay once said in an interview. "There's no traffic, no meetings, just the sound of the ocean. It's like the opposite of show business." That quote says everything. After decades of deadlines, ratings wars, and television politics, Seafair is where he goes to not perform. It's his retreat, not his stage. And of course, being Leno, there's a 6-car garage, because no matter where he goes, the cars come with him. The estate also includes a private dock, lush gardens, and a massive swimming pool that melts into the ocean view. Every detail seems tailor-made for someone who appreciates craftsmanship and history, just like his beloved automobiles. What's more surprising? Seafair isn't about showing off. Jay rarely speaks publicly about the mansion. He even jokes, "It's not like I throw Gatsby parties or anything. I mostly walk around with a sandwich and stare at the water." That's the paradox of Jay Leno. The man who once ruled late night with millions watching still finds the deepest satisfaction in solitude. He doesn't need the cameras to feel like a king. At Seafair, he doesn't hold court. He lets go. You've seen celebrity homes, but nothing prepares you for what Jay Leno hides in his garage. This is where the real shock begins. Inside Leno's Big Dog Garage. Jay Leno's Big Dog Garage is more than just a place to store cars. Located near Burbank Airport in California, it's a massive working garage where vehicles are repaired, restored, and even built from scratch. Leno bought the original space in 1991. It was around 17,000 square feet at the time. Since then, it has grown into a 122,000 square foot complex covering several buildings. This garage didn't appear overnight. It slowly expanded over the years as Leno's interest in cars and hands-on work continued to grow. Leno didn't want a showroom or a museum. He wanted a place where he and his team could work on cars properly. "It's a garage. It's not supposed to be pretty," Leno once said. "The goal is to keep things running, not to hide them behind ropes." That mindset is what shaped the entire space. The garage is a place of activity, with noise, tools, and people moving around. It's not about showing off. It's about fixing, maintaining, and learning. Inside the garage, there are departments for different tasks. There are areas for machining parts using CNC tools, sections with car lifts for mechanical repairs, and even zones for paint and bodywork. Many of the vehicles that come through this garage are old or rare. That means parts are hard to find. But that's not a problem here. Leno's team often makes the parts themselves using their advanced machines. There's also a full-time team of skilled workers who manage the garage's daily operations. Leading them is Bernard Jukli, the garage manager. Jukli has a strong background in racing and mechanical work. Leno trusts him completely and often says that Bernard is the reason the garage runs so smoothly. While Leno himself is often involved, he loves to tinker and fix things. He relies on his team to get big jobs done right. Over time, the garage added useful spaces like staff offices, a kitchen, and storage areas for tools and supplies. Everything has a purpose. The goal is to keep the garage running as a real workplace, not a display center. That's why you'll find classic tools alongside modern machines. The mix helps the team work on vehicles from different time periods. Security is taken seriously. With a $50 million collection of valuable machines inside, the garage has 24/7 surveillance, gates, and regular patrols. But even with high security, the place still feels like a workshop. The focus is on the work, not the status. Leno often says that every car in the garage should run. He doesn't believe in owning vehicles just for show. He wants them to work as they were meant to. This belief is what drives everything at Big Dog Garage. The cars are driven, tested, and kept in working order, not just polished and left alone. You must be surprised at how someone could build such a massive garage. But wait, the most surprising part is still to come. It's not just about the size of the garage. It's about what Jay Leno keeps inside it. His collection will leave you speechless. Leno has always been more than just a celebrity car collector. He's a genuine enthusiast who appreciates everything from early steam power to modern supercars. Jay Leno's car collection isn't just large, it's one of the most unique and diverse in the world. As of 2024, it includes 181 cars and 160 motorcycles. In 2022, Jay Leno experienced a terrifying accident that shook the car enthusiast community. While working inside his Big Dog garage in Burbank, Leno was seriously injured in a fire that erupted during routine maintenance on one of his classic steam-powered vehicles. According to reports, the incident occurred when a fuel leak sprayed gasoline onto his face and hands, and a spark ignited the vapors, causing a sudden burst of flames. Leno suffered second- and third-degree burns on his face, chest, and hands. He was immediately rushed to the Grossman Burn Center in Los Angeles, where he underwent skin graft surgery and hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Despite the severity of the burns, Leno remained in good spirits throughout his treatment, joking with hospital staff and maintaining his trademark sense of humor. Just weeks after the accident, Leno was back at the garage and soon enough, back on the road. It was a moment that showed not only his resilience, but also the deep personal bond he shares with his collection. Most recently, Leno made one of the biggest decisions of his life, stepping away from The Tonight Show. But what truly surprised everyone wasn't his retirement. It was what he chose to do next. When Jay Leno stepped away from The Tonight Show, many wondered what path he would take next. But it didn't take long to find out. Rather than fading from public life, Leno pivoted to something he had always been deeply passionate about: cars. And that shift gave rise to a new chapter that brought him even closer to fans who shared his love of engines, restoration, and the road. In 2015, Leno launched Jay Leno's Garage on CNBC. It wasn't just a side hobby, it became a full-scale production that spanned 7 Emmy-winning seasons. The show wasn't about glamour or exclusivity. Instead, it brought people into Leno's world of mechanical beauty, rare classics, high-tech prototypes, and honest conversations about what makes cars special. Whether he was talking to fellow gearheads, testing out a cutting-edge electric vehicle, or driving a 100-year-old steam car, Leno's enthusiasm was authentic. That's what made the show work. After CNBC's run, the show continued on YouTube, where Jay Leno's Garage now has over 3.6 million subscribers. The online format gave Leno more flexibility and fans more access. Shorter videos, deep dives into rare models, interviews with celebrities, and spontaneous drives through Burbank kept the channel fresh and engaging. Beyond the screen, Leno's media presence also expanded in print. He regularly contributed to Popular Mechanics, offering restoration tips and explaining engineering concepts in a way that made sense even to beginners. His tone was never condescending. Instead, he welcomed readers into his world, whether he was discussing rebuilding a carburetor or explaining the difference between early EV models and modern ones. He also wrote for the Sunday Times in the UK, reaching international audiences with stories and insights drawn from decades of collecting, driving, and fixing vehicles. He's also stayed visible through occasional appearances on TV shows like Last Man Standing, Lip Sync Battle, and various talk shows. Leno has continued to perform stand-up comedy and speak at events, often weaving car stories into his routines. This combination of humor and deep car knowledge has helped him maintain a unique place in the public eye. Through it all, Jay Leno hasn't just remained relevant, he's redefined himself. From primetime television host to full-time car guy, he's proven that retirement doesn't have to mean stepping back. For Leno, it just meant hitting the gas in a new direction. What do you think about Jay Leno's incredible garage and his one-of-a-kind car collection? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you have a favorite car from his collection or a dream garage of your own? With a total estimated value of over $52 million. Some of the earliest and most interesting pieces in his garage come from the steam and electric eras of automotive history. For example, Leno owns a 1906 Advanced steam tractor, something you'd more likely see in a museum, and a 1909 Baker Electric, a reminder that electric cars aren't as new as many people think. These early machines are complex, rare, and delicate, but Leno enjoys the challenge of keeping them running. Leno also owns several historic and high-performance classics, such as Bentleys, Bugattis, and Duesenbergs. One of his standout vehicles is the Bugatti Type 57, a car that represents one of the finest examples of pre-war European engineering and design. These cars are not just collectibles, they're part of automotive history, and Leno takes care to preserve that. His love for American muscle is also clear. Dodge Challengers, vintage Mustangs, and other classic muscle cars line his garage. Each one has its own backstory, and many have been restored or customized in his workshop. These vehicles showcase the raw power and design spirit of American car culture from the 1960s and 70s. Jay Leno may have a stable of Bentley and Lamborghini models at his disposal, but for a time, his daily driver was a humble Chevy Volt. "It's the car I use to run errands, and when it's raining, bad weather, when I have to go to the airport. It's a great everyday car," he told the press at the 2011 Los Angeles Auto Show. But when it comes to modern engineering and design, Leno doesn't hold back either. Perhaps the most famous car in his collection is his 1994 McLaren F1. This supercar is often considered the finest performance car of its time, with a top speed of over 240 miles per hour. Leno bought it for around $800,000 in the 1990s, and today it's estimated to be worth between $17 million and $20 million. Despite its value, he still drives it. "It's not an investment. It's a car," he once said. Then there's the Blastoline Special, also known as the tank car. It's powered by a 29-liter engine from a military tank and looks as wild as it sounds. This beast weighs over 9,500 pounds and is completely street legal. Leno often takes it out for drives, turning heads wherever he goes. Another rare machine is the GM EcoJet, a jet turbine-powered concept car built in collaboration with GM. It runs on biodiesel and was designed with sustainability and performance in mind. It looks like a spaceship and sounds like a jet taking off. Again, it's something only someone like Jay Leno would have in their garage, and it's no surprise that he helped develop it. Among all the rare and flashy vehicles, there's one car Leno always talks about fondly: his 1972 Mercedes-Benz 600 Compressor. This luxury sedan was originally impressive on its own, but Leno had it modified with a modern supercharged engine. The result is a unique mix of vintage luxury and modern performance. It's powerful, quiet, and full of character, just the way Leno likes his cars. His approach to collecting is thoughtful. He doesn't just buy cars because they're expensive or rare. He buys them because they're interesting, well-built, and tell a story. He works closely with his team to restore and maintain each one, often getting his own hands dirty. Leno once said, "You learn more when you fix something than when you just write a check." That's an impressive collection, isn't it? But what truly sets it apart isn't just the size or the price tags. It's Jay Leno's philosophy, a belief that these rare vehicles aren't meant to be hidden away, but experienced, driven, and truly lived with. Jay Leno's philosophy toward his vehicle collection is simple, but deeply passionate. These machines are not meant to sit idle. Unlike many collectors who keep their cars locked away in climate-controlled storage, Leno believes that every vehicle, no matter how rare, old, or valuable, should be fully operational and regularly driven. "Cars are meant to be driven," he once said in an interview. And that belief guides how he lives with his massive collection of 181 cars and 160 motorcycles. Leno doesn't just drive these vehicles for show. He uses them in everyday life, often cruising around Burbank, California, where he lives and where his Big Dog garage is located. Locals frequently spot him behind the wheel of his more unusual vehicles, whether it's his 1909 Baker Electric, the jet-powered EcoJet, or even the massive Blastoline tank car. These aren't rare moments staged for the camera. He genuinely enjoys driving, testing, and feeling every part of each machine. His cars and motorcycles often make appearances at charity events, car club meets, and other enthusiast gatherings. He's regularly seen at shows like Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance or Cars and Coffee Meets, sometimes arriving in a Duesenberg, other times in a restored American muscle car. These outings aren't for self-promotion. They're a way for Leno to share his passion and to show people that even the most historic vehicles can still be part of everyday life. In November